Good day, fellow knowledge warriors. I am Joan Generoso from Silliman University. With me is my student in the graduate program, Joanny Bermillo, studying PhD in English TESOL at Silliman University, Dumaguete. She is an assistant professor of language education, College of Education, Central Mindanao University, Muswan Maramag Bukidnon. Today, we will present our paper entitled Complement Speech Act Responses of ESL Senior High School Students. Do they matter? This is a collaborative study. This paper presentation limits its focus to complements, specifically the responses to complements. The Speech Act of Complement and corresponding complement responses are not new concepts in the world of language and social linguistics. In fact, there are already plenty of studies done on the subject across multiple different contexts. Complement is a speech act which attributes credit to the person addressed for some good like appearance, characteristic, possession, skill, etc., which is highly appreciated by the speaker and the hearer. Compliments have social-cultural significance because they are positively effective speech acts, which means to oil the social wheels, paying attention to positive phase wants and thus increasing or consolidating solidarity between people as explained by Holmes. They are also conversational devices of interpersonal relationships in daily life that serve serious socio-cultural linguistic function. As such, they play a particular role in maintaining the solidarity and harmony of interpersonal relationships and social interaction. Tang and Zhang, 2013. Pragmatic transfer can be defined as the interaction between old and new knowledge. The former being the first language learned of the individual and the latter being the second language that may be learned. This event occurs when the knowledge and experience that was acquired with the first language influences the acquisition and use of the new language being learned. By Beaufrance and Clavel Arroitia, 2018. Pragmatic transfer within complement responses manifests when the speaker of the utterance reacts in a way that encompasses the patterns and culture of their L1. The pragmatic transfer is common in language use and is caused mainly by the speaker's language proficiency and pragmatic competence. The challenge is responding to complements is that the addresses of the complements face a dilemma, whether to agree with the complimenter or to avoid self-praise. Moreover, a lot of studies show cross-cultural variation or differences in responding to compliments. Linguistic and cultural differences have been observed in complimenting. First, different speakers of different language follow different patterns when responding to compliments. Second, compliments are cultural constructions that reflect agreed upon ways of behaving. As such, compliments and responses to compliments usually mirror the socio-cultural values of speakers. Studies on compliments demonstrate that complement is a structured speech act that reflects social values in a culture. Thus, this study has one objective: to raise the students' level of awareness and the use of acceptance and return compliment types of responses by exploring into compliment response strategies used by the senior high school students. There is a need to teach students how and when to give or respond to appropriate compliments to the interlocutors to avoid miscommunication. Hence, this study ought to examine the compliment response strategies used by the grade 11 senior high school students. The researchers adapted the compliment response strategies of Holmes 1993. To continue the discussion, I will now give the screen to my partner, Joanie Bermillo.
Good day, fellow researchers. This is the research methodology. The study utilized the descriptive research design. The participants involved 20 randomly selected grade 11 students enrolled in oral communication at Silliman University, Dumaguete City. Literature says that in discourse analysis studies, although sounds very minimal in terms of the number of participants, an average of 15 to 50 participants is already a valid number, since corpus linguistics are more particular on the number of corpora to represent the sample rather than on the number of participants. Furthermore, this research adapted a questionnaire on discourse completion test, DCT, from Mains and Wolfson 1981. The questionnaire constituted 4 generally accepted compliment-giving situations: possession, ability, appearance, and character. It consisted of 8 separate paragraphs describing various real-life situations. The participants were asked to express the responses to each described situation in the provided blank space after each of the paragraphs. The situations were about events that typically take place in the participants' everyday life in academic situations. The reasons to choose academic situations among the other ones lies in the importance of saving one's face in these situations, especially in the classroom setting. After the participants had filled in the questionnaires, complement responses were analyzed and coded using Holmes 1993 complement responses. At the end, the data were analyzed statistically using frequency and percentage values. This is Holmes complement responses categories used to analyze the students' responses in the discourse completion task, where the 3 macro levels: accept, reject, and evade, with its various micro levels. For the results and discussion, this table shows the frequency counts and percentage of the types of complement responses made by the participants. There are a total of 156 corpora collected to constitute accept, reject, and evade responses. It can be seen here that accept has the frequency count of 99, or 63% of the total responses, with the micro levels of 21% return compliment and 17% appreciation token, respectively. The findings show that accept compliments strongly indicates the Filipino students' unique way of responding to compliments. Either they accept it or return it out of politeness. Some students also use downgrading, possibly to regain humility and eliminate the mix of awkwardness and embarrassment that compliments sometimes bring, especially compliments coming from strangers. The data also provides counter-evidence to studies where Asian speakers of other languages generally reject compliments and where native speakers of English straightforwardly accept compliments. Moreover, the data show that most common strategy used by the students to respond to compliment is the return compliment, which is accept of the macro level followed by appreciation token of compliment response, and reject accounts only for least among the macro levels. Such findings run counter to Mujica's 2002 observation that Filipino college students use more non-acceptance and non-agreement strategies in response to compliments, and that Filipino students are more likely to be constrained by modesty maxim. Nevertheless, the target language in Mujica's study is Filipino. The national language in the Philippines might be the case that the Philippine English learners were able to learn the rule of thumb in responding to compliments, that is, to accept it when receiving compliments. However, the finding of this research are more likely similar to Masconanya et al. 2018, when accept rank as first, then followed by evade and reject, respectively. The macro level of evade ranks second with 20% of the total responses. It can be observed that the shift credit got the highest responses with 10%. Although some students say something like, "My pleasure," to assure others that their work gave them no hassle. Maybe this is out of politeness or culture. Informative comments had 9%, denoting that some students feel the need to inform others on how to acquire an object or reach others' level, hoping to cheer them up or encourage them to do better in future situations. The macro level that got the least number of responses was reject, with only 6%. It only garnered 2 micro levels, namely disagreeing utterance and question accuracy at 6% and 1% respectively. The data revealed that some students do not know how to accept a compliment, so they just reject it. Also, it was observed that students combine any 2 or 3 of the microcategories of appreciation token: agreeing utterance, qualifying, downgrading, and return compliment, and or modify the responses with advice, suggestion, offer, or other modification strategies as shown in these evidences. These are some examples of modification of the responses. The results imply that Filipino culture of humility or shyness is evident on how they react to compliments. Most Filipinos are not used to getting compliments, the same way that some rarely give compliments to each other. Based on the results of the study, the following conclusions were drawn. First, Filipino senior high school students do not possess the earlier generation's timidity, as reflected in the use of acceptance and return compliment types of responses to compliments. Their use of such types of responses indicates their desire to maintain social balance with respective interlocutors. Second, students should learn how to give and accept compliments to establish and preserve camaraderie and solidarity among peers. And lastly, in a more profound sense, teachers may also consider teaching the pragmatics of language to raise pragmatic awareness. Pragmatic awareness includes teaching the students on how, when, and whom to give socially appropriate compliments in a specific context to avoid miscommunication. For the impact of the study, I would like you to go back to the tag question attached to the title. Compliment speech act responses of ESL senior high school students, do they matter? The answer is yes. The impact of this study will surely put forward on our recommendation to language teachers to revisit and reframe, redesign the curriculum or syllabus to embed or include the teaching of the pragmatics of language regardless of the content areas to raise pragmatic awareness. In classroom setting, this is most desirable to maintain solidarity and social balance with respective interlocutors, which includes their teachers and classmates. Furthermore, the researchers believe that complement speech act responses are culturally driven. Therefore, Filipino students should strengthen the identity values that represents the Filipinos, such as hospitality and courtesy. Teaching communication according to the sociocultural rules that govern speech acts in a given speech community is a valuable way to make students aware of what is valued within a culture and how this is communicated. Raising pragmatic awareness can foster what Crum's 1993 calls the intercultural competence. These are the list of references used in the study. I would like to end our presentation with a quote from Crum's in 1993. The key to understanding language in context is to start not with language, but with context. Thank you, everyone, and may God bless us all. Mabuhay ang Page Region 10.